How many times have you been playing the drums and no matter how hard you try to avoid it, your sticks inevitably begin slipping, causing you to lose control, lose focus, maybe even start feeling some pain and fatigue as you're trying to compensate for it, and maybe this even results in you dropping a stick eventually. This is super annoying. Let's just say it, this is super annoying, so let's fix it. Today we're going to talk about some simple remedies, key technique adjustments, and cool ways to just fix this on the fly. This is very much a learned skill. You can learn this, you can take action on this, you can do it. Let's solve stick slippage together. Here we go. Hey, welcome to The Non-Glamorous Drummer. This is a channel that's all about giving you the core skills that really matter, that help you know your next step and get results fast. And speaking of fast results, if you're working on coordination, or you know you need to work on coordination, you feel like your limbs just aren't free, you're not comfortable behind the kit, you're not able to play what you want to play, download my 3-part daily practice routine. It's totally free PDF guide. It's going to help you out a lot because it has 3 sections. So first section is all on hand technique, super crucial. Second section is on coordination. Third section is on music and listening. And that second section is just full of exercises. If you want to split your right hand from your right foot, there you go. If you want to be able to play whatever you want to with your hands on top of a foot pattern, we got you covered. If you want to keep time with your left foot during different rock grooves, we've got a whole bunch of groove examples that are going to show you exactly how to do this. Plus, if you want to improvise between the kick and the snare and do that within a swing context and even a Latin context, you can go really deep with this. It's all in this guide. This is going to give you everything you need to practice, and because this is a thorough, balanced method, it's detailed yet simple, you can be confident in knowing you're not missing anything and that you're growing in the key areas and becoming a solid drummer on the way. Becoming the pro drummer that you want to be without missing anything. And so that's key. That's really important. This guide has helped out thousands of drummers. I want you to join the thousands that have gone ahead of you and have gotten great results from this. So go download the guide. It's free. It's a no-brainer. All right, on with today's video. There are some quick, simple remedies for this that it took me way too long to figure out because sometimes dry, slick hands are the culprit. And so if you live in a dry climate or maybe in the winter, that's when these issues tend to become more apparent. I know that's the way it was for me. It was when I was playing a super early Sunday morning church gig in the winter and my hands would be dry and I would get in there and play and launch into a loud, fast song. And I would find myself having to really pinch the sticks hard to compensate for that stick slippage. So I would get all this pain right here at this point between my thumb, my index finger, which would result in a bunch of hand fatigue, which would result in not being able to grip well because I'd be trying to squeeze too hard, and it was just this downward spiral of chaos. And so maybe you've been there where it's just that frustration of feeling like I don't have control over my sticks. How do I fix this? Am I the problem? Is there a quick remedy? Like is it a skin thing? Is it a stick thing? So that's what we're going to break down today. And some of those simple solutions are really simple. Like maybe all you need to do is put some lotion on your hands. That always helps me. I put on some lotion before I came down here to film this video. And so I feel like I've got some good control over my sticks because my skin is clammy enough and sticky enough that the stick naturally wants to grip. And there's a good bit of skin in contact with it as I'm playing. Spilling soda on your hands, that can be another good solution. I think I first heard that from Questlove, from The Roots, Jimmy Fallon's band on his show. And I think that was Questlove talking about how he would actually pour soda on his hands sometimes just to make sure they're extra sticky so he could grip the sticks. And I actually tried that one time. I was playing a cover gig and my hands were dry. It was winter, but I had a Coke over here, and so I just spilled a little on my hands, and it worked really well. Any kind of sugary drink is going to provide that stickiness that you need. So it sounds gross, but if you can get past the grossness of having sticky, sugary things on your hands, it could be worth the benefits. There are also various products out there that might help with this. I've heard of some drummers having luck with stick wax and various things that like drum companies actually make that you can rub on your sticks to provide a little bit of extra stickiness. There's also the Vic Grip sticks. These can be really cool. They're just a little bit more sticky because of the coating. The only thing about these in my experience is that once your hands do get clammier, once you've built up the clamminess, then they become so sticky that it actually becomes irritating to your skin. So what I used to do is use these at the beginning of when I was playing, then switch them out for my normal sticks once my hands were clammy. And so that was kind of the best of both worlds, and that made a lot of sense for me. But honestly, if you can, just spend 15 minutes warming up before you actually have to play something loud and fast around the kit. Because if you can just get your hands warmed up temperature-wise, like if your hands are cold, I have the cold hand thing. My hands are always cold. They're cold right now. It's probably 68 degrees down here and my hands are cold. It's below 80. My hands are going to be cold. So if you can physically get them warmed up, get a little more blood pumping, get a little bit of clamminess going on, then of course that'll solve your problem. And so sometimes that's all it is. If you can spend a little bit of time warming up, staying loose, that can go a long way also toward making sure that you're physically staying relaxed as you're playing, just because you've established that ahead of time. You've established, all right, I am loose, I'm relaxed, I'm going to make sure I don't go into this too tight just because it's maybe an early morning at church, or maybe I'm playing this gig tonight and it's cold and I'm just not feeling very good. Sometimes warming up can really solve a lot of problems. And so one of those quick remedies might be your solution. And I would love it if that was the solution. That was most of the solution for me, where once I started putting on lotion, once I made sure my hands were sticky, that really did help. And so if that solves your issues of stick slippage, of dropping sticks, awesome. I'm happy for you. It's possible, though, that there's more to the issue, or that maybe those things could help a little bit, but there's also something a little deeper going on with your grip, with your technique, and fixing that could really ultimately solve it even better than lotion or stick wax or soda or any of those things could. So what we've got to do is make sure that we're gripping well for what I'll say is maximum skin contact. Now, I say maximum skin contact, not meaning this, because obviously if we were playing like this, there would be no stick slippage. We wouldn't be dropping sticks, but also we'd be playing horribly. Our hands would be hurting. Our playing would be all shaky and clumsy and no good. So we have to be loose and have the stick moving like this, which in a way kind of means minimum skin contact. But at the same time, we want to have as much skin contact. For some reason, that's hard to say, skin contact. We want to have as much skin contact as possible so that we have control, so that the sticks don't fly. That's why, back when I first started playing, I had a teacher who would always hound me for sticking my fingers out. And sometimes to this day, when I'm keeping time with my right hand over here, it's easy for a pinky to start to stick out just because I'm so loose and relaxed as I'm playing over here. At least that's my excuse. But what I used to, when I first started playing, I would kind of do this sometimes where fingers would just hang out because I felt like it was easier that way because my fingers just felt like they were in the way. But what happens when you're doing that, there's so little skin contact that it's very easy for the stick to fly out of control. And so ultimately your fingers are actually helping give you control by providing extra skin contact, by providing somewhat of a road, almost like a guardrail kind of road for the stick to travel on so that it's more under control. And so you want to make sure you're doing that well. So in a nutshell, number one most important thing is have a fulcrum point. Make sure you have established a fulcrum point in your grip. What I mean by fulcrum is hinge point. Make sure there's a hinge point where the stick, if you go like this with your other hand on the butt end, you can rotate it back and forth, and it consistently rotates right there. I'm gripping roughly on the American flag right now, by the way, on a Vic First stick, which is kind of the sweet spot for if you're playing softly. Your perfect hinge point might be down here, near the end of your middle finger. It might be right up here, around this point. It might be here on your index, here on your index. It's different for everybody. You find your sweet spot. For me, it's about right here. It's about this point of middle finger. And so that's where that hinge just makes natural sense. And my index is just here functioning as a guardrail. And then the other fingers are just kind of down here. The stick's brushing kind of past them. And so there's a lot of skin contact within each stroke. And every time the stick goes down, the butt end is making contact with this point right here on my palm. A common question I get is it okay for the butt end of the stick to be hitting my wrist while I'm playing? Butt end should not be hitting your wrist. If it's hitting your wrist, that means that you must be gripping way up here and you're bending your hand really far down in order for that to actually happen. But it is very normal for the butt end to hit right here, which I would call this palm, not wrist. If it's hitting your palm right here near your wrist, that's fine and that's normal, and that's providing a little bit of that stickiness to halt the stick so that when it goes down and it hits there, it's not going to slide anywhere. Now, I've noticed the butt end hitting my palm like that sometimes while I'm playing, but it depends on what I'm playing, and that's not always the case. Sometimes I feel it hitting down here, other times I don't. It's one of those things, don't worry about it, don't sweat it. It's fine either way, but know that that's okay if that's something that you've wondered about. And know that the more skin, the more hand the stick touches, then probably the more under control your grip is going to be. But of course, we've got to balance that with the looseness in making sure that you're getting the rebound you need. And that's why fulcrum is so important. Because if you establish a hinge point like this, that provides so much control and looseness, and the other fingers are just helping keep the stick in line. So that's very important. Work on try emulating this, try doing what I'm doing, but making little adjustments according to your personal preferences, whether it's adjusting your fulcrum to here or doing something with index finger. It doesn't matter. Find what works for you. Find that hinge point. Make sure the other fingers are out here following the stick, extending as it rebounds. And just doing that is going to go a long way toward giving you that control where you're not feeling like you've got to squeeze too tight and you're not feeling like you're going to lose the sticks. But here's the kicker, and here's sort of the twist. Maybe we could call this a plot twist. Stick slippage is inevitable to a degree, and we actually want to allow it in certain circumstances. So this is where it kind of gets interesting because we fuss about it and we're like, man, our sticks are sliding. I keep throwing sticks, dropping sticks, and that's frustrating. You want to get it under control, but know that to a degree, it's kind of inevitable. Where as you're moving around the kit and you're playing different things, your sticks are going to slide a little bit. So ultimately, we want to do what we can to avoid it. We want to make sure we've got some stickiness on our hands. We want to make sure we're gripping right. Those are the givens. Those are the fundamental basics we want to make sure we're doing. But ultimately, we've got to learn how to deal with this on the fly. And really, it's pretty simple. I just call this the stick shimmy, the stick crawl, whatever you want to call it. Practice crawling. It's almost like I picture a caterpillar on a stick, as silly as this seems. The way your hand might crawl up and down the stick. And so practice just doing this, get a feel for this, and know that actually this is a way that you can move your hand up and down the stick and compensate for any slippage that happens on the fly. Because, watch this. Say I'm gripping down here as I'm playing. I can actually crawl up the stick as I'm playing. I crawled all the way to right here. And then I could crawl back. Now crawling back is actually a little bit easier because you've got the force of the stick's motion to help you. You know, if you're playing loudly and strongly, the stick wants to fly out. And so if you're gripping right here and you start getting louder, it naturally wants to slide to here. But if you're here and you're wanting to go up, you pretty much want to use that crawling motion. And so practice just doing this. Practice crawling in either direction. I know you're like, Steven, this is just weird. This is dumb. No, this is important. Stick with me. Practice doing this. This should not be difficult. Just figure out whatever your hand's got to do to crawl up and down the stick. And then practice doing it while you're playing singles. So start your singles gripping right here and practice crawling up the stick. See if you can keep those singles going while crawling up. So now we've adjusted to here, and now crawl back. And back up to the middle of the stick, and back to the button. Just practice doing that with either hand, because when you know how to deal with this on the fly, it becomes less stressful. You don't fear losing the sticks. You don't fear losing that perfect hand position you thought you found, because now you know how to deal with it. You realize, oh, there's actually a way I can compensate for this and I can fix it on the fly. And what's cool is that the more you do this, the less you have to think about it. Your hands just naturally do this because you feel where you're at on the sticks. And so it kind of just becomes one of those automatic things where as you're playing, you feel that, oh, I'm too close to the button. So you make that adjustment without even worrying about it, without thinking about it twice. And so get comfortable doing this and practice doing it as you're playing the kit. Like as you're playing a song. Try doing it intentionally as you're playing a song. I mentioned a minute ago that stick slippage is actually important and it's actually essential, and we want to intentionally do it in some circumstances. Here's why. You'll find this as you're moving around the kit to be very important. If you want to play softly, it makes way more sense to grip the stick right here. But if you want to play loudly, it makes way more sense to grip the stick down here. It's kind of just common sense because we want to have more stick in order to play loudly, especially if we're playing rim shot backbeats. If I'm doing rim shot backbeats, I want to grip right here. But if I'm playing light and quickly on the ride cymbal, I want to be up here. So that's like thumb on the H of Firth. You've got Vic Firth sticks, about this far up the stick. And so a lot of times I'll be playing and I'm hitting backbeats, so my left hand's gripping here, I'm playing on the ride over here. Literally my grip will look like this. Where right hand is here, left hand is here because of what I'm doing, because I'm playing different surfaces. So then if I switch from right hand up here down to the floor tom, I'm shimmying down to here so that now I'm gripping more in the same spot so that I can play on the floor tom. Or if I want to play rim shots on the snare with both hands, I'm shifting to right here. Or maybe things quiet down and I want to play something light on the cymbals, I'm shifting to right here and playing lightly on the cymbals. And so you actually want to get good at this, you want to get really solid at this so that you can make these transitions on the fly as you're playing, as you change dynamics. So to take that exercise from a minute ago a step further, practice going softly, gripping right here. So this will be our starting point. Going soft, playing alternating 16ths. As you get louder, let the sticks fly out a little more until you're gripping down here. And so now we're right here. We're not gripping all the way button because we don't really ever want to be all the way down here. But we shifted to being further down here, which makes more sense when we're playing loudly. Now try the other way around. Start off loud, and as you get softer, let your fingers choke up the stick a little bit. And by the way, that's not a huge adjustment. It's probably about an inch. Really, there's about an inch, inch and a half range, kind of that 3 centimeter range that you want to get comfortable moving back and forth between. And so that might be from thumb right here around the American flag, a thumb up here on the H, because this much slide makes a huge difference in the feel of the stick and your ability to play cleanly and well and comfortably at those different dynamics. So we're not talking massive stuff here. We're not talking gripping way up here and then way down here. Generally, it's a terrible idea to grip all the way down here on the butt end. Some drummers have made it work, not me. I don't suggest it. But know that we're not talking like we got to do crazy shimmy work here. We're literally just moving a little bit, just crawling a little bit back and forth. That's all there is to it. And so you'll find that when you're able to do this, suddenly things tend to get easier, because when you're playing the kit, when you're playing the full drum set, you're hitting one type of instrument over here, another instrument here, another instrument here. This is a multi-instrument kind of instrument. And so we've got all these different surfaces and things that we've got to play, differently. We've got to approach them differently. We're not going to use the exact same grip and touch to hit a ride, especially on the top of the ride, as we will to hit a floor tom or a rim shot on the snare. We've got to approach these things differently. And so if you've struggled with this, or you've been frustrated by not feeling comfortable playing the ride versus playing rim shots, hitting drums hard, cymbals lightly, because that's what we want to do to mix the kit well and playing rock, then maybe the issue is that you're not adjusting your grip on the fly the way you actually need to. Because if you adjust up to here for soft playing and playing on the cymbals, it feels so light and airy and controlled, and you have physics on your side. Likewise, if you're playing rim shots and you're playing loud and you feel like it's exhausting and you're not getting the results you want, maybe it's because you're not actually gripping your stick far enough down here so that you have more throw, so you can just throw the stick into the drum and the drum absorbs the stick. And so that's something to experiment with. This was something that took me way too long to really figure out for myself, but this ended up being the solution to a lot of issues. My problem wasn't so much the stick slippage as it was, oh, wait a second. If I grip here, I can play consistent rim shots that sound awesome when I'm playing a loud groove. And if I grip here with my right hand, I can play so much quicker and lighter on the ride cymbal. Those were things that nobody taught me. That's not something that people talk about. I doubt you're going to find a video anywhere on YouTube about how you need to adjust where on the stick you're gripping based on volume. Maybe it's out there. I'm not an avid YouTube viewer. I'm too busy making YouTube videos for you guys. You can tell me if you've seen something about this, but it's just such an underrated topic, probably because it's very non-glamorous, so it makes it the perfect fit for this community right here. And so I really hope this helps you out. I hope this solves some problems, gives you some direction, helps keep you from losing control of your sticks, losing the sticks period, throwing the sticks sliding and causing you to lose your focus, and just feeling not comfortable on different surfaces. I hope all of that is eliminated just by today's discussion. And so practice doing that shimmy motion in real time as you're playing singles. Practice it with one-handed singles and then alternating, going from loud to soft, and as you get louder, go down to here, softer, go up to here. And then practice it on the fly playing grooves, where maybe left hand is down here for hitting rim shots, right hand can be up here. There's no rule that says you got to grip in the same spot with both sticks. If right hand is hitting cymbals and left hand is hitting a drum, this is fine, grip this way. And then if right hand moves down to the drum, just shimmy it down so they're both the same. Left hand moves up to cymbal, shimmy it up so they're both the same. There aren't hard and fast rules here. It's okay to be gripping differently one hand or the other. Give it a try, be intentional practicing it, and these things will become more natural and autopilot in your playing so that you'll always feel comfortable no matter what you're playing. As always, I want to leave you with something tangible that's really going to help your grip even more and help your coordination. If you're in the camp where maybe you're getting your grip together and it's feeling better, but you know that your feet just aren't really under control, you don't feel comfortable behind the kit, check out this guide, Know What to Practice, the 3-part daily practice routine. We talk about hand stuff in part 1, which is great. You can apply some of what we're talking about today to the exercises there. But what has been most helpful about this guide, and what I hear so much feedback from the thousands of drummers who have downloaded this, is that the coordination section of the guide is so helpful, because it's these step-by-step practical exercises that you can just sit down at the kit and start working on today. And so if you want to build comfort, if you want to build limb independence, and you want to get your right foot separated from your right hand, you want to be able to improvise between kick and snare, you want to be able to keep time with your left foot during a groove over here, this guide is going to help you do it, because it's got all the steps that you need to follow all the detail there. You can just download this, take it to your practice room, and there you go, you're set. This guide is so complete and so thorough, you can be confident in your practicing knowing that you're not missing anything important. There's even a section about music and listening at the end to round it off. That's the third part. Hand technique, coordination, and music and listening. And so if you do all that, you're going to grow. You know that you're going to grow, and you can be confident in that, knowing that you're practicing the right things and that you're getting results. So this guide has helped out so many drummers. It's been the most popular one on the channel, and so definitely go check it out. It's free. It's a no-brainer. I hope you'll take action on this because this is really going to help you make some serious progress. As always, thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for watching this video. I hope this lesson really helps you out a lot. Know that you can do this. You know, these are non-glamorous things that don't come naturally to most people. It takes work. Even if you feel like you don't have the natural skill, don't worry about it. It takes work. Work ethic trumps talent in pretty much any hand technique scenario. And so it just takes practice, but put in the work, the regular discipline of practicing these things, and you're going to get results. So have a great week, everyone. Hope this lesson helped you out and was really beneficial to you. Thanks for watching. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. Stay non-glamorous.